This is a marketing and distribution plan of the film Skinwalkers. The film is by Zach Duran and Donnie Sandoval.
And I'm going to get us started off with kind of a general overview of the project itself, some of our goals, and where we want to take this. So the film is about four friends who are trying to rekindle an old high school friendship. And they have this tradition of going on this hike in Mount Diablo in Concord. And they decide to take some psychedelic drugs too. And this sort of surreal, serenity hike that they always do kind of turns into sort of like a hellish nightmare. And, our goals are pretty simple. Our director, Donnie Sandoval, specializes in sort of the psychedelic horror, sci-fi, thriller, short film sort of genre. He's created a bunch that kind of all coexist in this sort of universe. Actually, his thesis at SFSU was related to this project, and really it's just kind of an opportunity for him as well as us to continue to grow as a team. And with everything that's going on with COVID and with graduating and with where we're at, we kind of just need to bring this to us. We aren't really waiting for, a ton of huge productions to happen. This small based local community project is all done mostly outdoors with a very small crew who've worked together before. And we're going to do everything we can safely to make this happen as soon as possible, because we want to be able to provide content. That's what we do. That's what we want to do. That's what this is all for in the first place. Particularly with this story, we think that the Skinwalker trope has been kind of dumbed down. I think it's kind of been taken to sort of this paranormal-esque kind of world. You can Google Skinwalker right now and you'll find like 13% Rotten Tomato films. And we specifically are trained to, see beyond that as, local small storytellers. We want to make something that hasn't been done yet. I mean, that's the point. It's about evoking critical thinking to these sort of folklore sort of conspiracies, but done in a way that really speaks to these communities, these trails that we've been walking on our whole entire lives, really. And we want to establish Donnie ourselves, and we want to use this to continue to make films and to create a small little production company that can be financed, that can make it in this really strange, socially distant Zoom presentation world that we're doing right now. Eric's going to talk about audience, but I'm just going to touch a little bit on it. We think that it can be crossed over a lot. We think that this genre is sort of specifically Donnie style, is kind of Spielberg, kind of, amusement park style, but with a very sort of blend of small like B-story style aesthetic films. So I'm gonna let Eric talk specifically about our how we plan to reach this audience.
That there are multiple routes within the horror segment. The two most common and two most prevalent are paranormal and sci-fi. Paranormal mostly attracts itself to young teens and early adults. It's a defining interest in horror that attraction comes from. So the blood, the gore, the affect that the movie creates, and titles that represent this are The Nun, Slender Man, The First Purge, and obviously The Last Key, but there are significantly more films that do that. Sci-fi just attracts more moviegoers. When you look at Alien or Annihilation, it just appeals to both audiences in sci-fi and horror, and there's just a strong crossover between the two genres. So we will discuss, I found some stats, but we'll basically just break down the 4 segments of these stats. So I found some film stats that kind of corroborate or correlate with why we should go with the paranormal route instead of the sci-fi route. So we'll look at 4 categories: the movie-going population, gender, how it does in the box office, with ages, and ethnic backgrounds. So 8% of the movie-going population prefers to see a paranormal film. Of that 8%, men and women are 50-50 equally likely to go see the film, meaning we don't have to market to one or the other group. Um, how it behaves in the box office is, I want to say this right. Moviegoers are more likely to spend money than the average. So moviegoers are more likely to spend more money on a paranormal or a sci-fi film than they are with just regular blockbusters. And so you can see that with the paranormal route. So comparing paranormal with blockbuster, you see moviegoers are willing to spend $22, or I'm sorry, are willing to spend an average of $22 instead of $19 to see a film. How that breaks down amongst ages is 70% of millennials, 70% of the population, which is divided between millennials and Gen X, with your age 20 to 46, are willing to sit in a movie theater and watch these movies. And then of that 70%, the ethnic breakdown is between Caucasian and Hispanic. Um, they're just the groups that are just more likely to go see this. Like I said, so why is this important? Millennials and Gen Xers are 70% more likely to spend money seeing a horror film. Of that 70%, Caucasians and Hispanics represent the majority. Gender doesn't matter because of the 50-50 breakdown. How do we market to these groups? Last I checked, everyone always has a screen in their face, whether it be a laptop or a cell phone. So we create a mobile-friendly campaign that attracts to our audience. We also need to communicate strong values. So just some values that this film should communicate are friends, accountability, and drug issues or drug use on a mountain. The distribution route. So let me preface this. There are multiple routes in us, and I'm sorry, with this plan being sort of a startup plan, I think we need to consider all of our options for distribution. So there are 3 routes. I'm going to talk about 2 of them. Um, so going back to the goal of this film is to raise awareness of the dangers of climbing and hiking a mountain on drugs. Um, Looking at an external distribution, this distributed to this should be distributed as an education tool through the means of external distribution, meaning we send it off to a agent, they take it through its process. I think this should also have a little bit of a twist on it. Instead of this being like a standalone, you go see it and you pay money for it individually. It should be coupled with a feature horror or thriller film. That way we just capture our target audience. There's another route we could go. We could go self-distribution through video on demand. In the days of COVID-19, they make external distribution just a little bit more difficult because you can't always go see people. So you're forced to have these Zoom meetings, and not everything gets communicated correctly. So just all back-end licensing agreements are done before release dates. That just eliminates any issues that crop up that force a face-to-face meeting because of time. There should be 2 platforms. If we go the self-distribution route, your standard platform, so Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, Google Play, Apple Store. But we should also create a special platform to be used by schools so the film can be used as an educational tool to promote safety and respect for the environment. And with that, I'll leave this with Jose. He can talk about festivals.
Thank you, Eric. Hi, my name is Jose Zoladon. I want to begin my part of the presentation discussing how we use festivals to promote our film. Living amidst a pandemic makes it very difficult in reliably using festivals in the traditional sense. As for the most part, festivals have moved online. For example, South by Southwest has partnered with YouTube and Amazon to live stream the films that were going to appear at that particular festival. And considering the nature of our film, and especially under this pandemic, we believe that the best course of action would be to present the film to indie festivals. In particular, we would use Slam Dance, a yearly indie festival that, again, it's yearly, it occurs every year. But I also want to stress that this is not the ultimate goal for the film. This is not the ultimate goal for the project to be shown at a festival. This is just a route that we can take if need be. The thing about Slam Dance that makes it so unique is that it's mostly just indie films, and they've had a lot of success stories that includes the Russo brothers, Emma Thomas, Ryan Johnson, because they've been running for over 25 years. So those are the success stories of this festival. So if we were able to get into the festival and possibly win the event, we can gain a lot of traction from that. There have been a lot of key players that appear at this festival, including Netflix. A lot of people from Netflix actually show up at this festival to see which films they like, which films they want to strike deals with. And there's also a lot of agencies that appear here as well. So going back to what Eric had said, involving agents, this is a good way for us to maybe strike a deal with someone there. The thing about this festival too is that there is cash prizes. In particular, they are distributing around $16,000 in cash in total for the whole event. There is an $8,000 for winning the whole thing, and if you are under any of these categories, including the feature or a horror or TV pilot or even a short, you can receive up to $2,000 in cash. The the top three of the screenwriters can also they also get a chance to going into the Slam Dance party, the VIP section. And this is another way for us to try to get our name out there, trying to distribute our film, trying to get people to be like, hey, look, like how's it going, whatever, trying to mingle with people to try to get this film to go places. The other idea is as well in involving festivals is using the platform Indiegogo, a way for us to create traction, a way for us to create community. Because if we get enough people involved in our film, and enough people supporting our film through Indiegogo, we have a way of showing people at Slam Dance, showing if we were to go there, showing people at the event, hey, we have people that are really interested in our film, and I think that this is a great way for people to want to go see the film. So it's a great benefit to other people that are looking for films to sell, essentially. And with that, I think I'll send it to Mr. Hill.
All right. For marketing and publicity, we want to get the buzz running pretty quickly. So upon casting, we want to launch full website and social medias to promote the director and the crew and the Indiegogo fund that we're trying to create. What we will do is use the Skinwalker character, the director, and some cast, and we'll reach out to a influencer in the horror folklore genre and approach them to get an audience in the Bay Area, to get a TikTok live so that we can put that on all different social medias. From there, we're going to reach out to a local radio station at SFSU and in the Bay Area called Grim Creepers, which is also into the creepy and weird and horror, and introduce Donnie to part of his core audience. So to keep gaining followers and subscribers. Ultimately, we do that like vlog throughout the production stage, leading to a premiere. What Eric said earlier is a good way to go about things. Packaging this short film with a potentially feature. So what we can do is, though with COVID-19 and being what it is, online is definitely the way to go. But with horror films, like, you want to see them in the audience. So a good route for us potentially is to search for our premiere at a drive-through theater, which are being big things, and a team that up with a feature, and we're good to go. Like, week to 2 weeks before the premiere happens, we launch a like a prize or something for people who start following our account and come to the premiere to help build publicity for the actual premiere. Because when it comes to shorts and things like that, we have a very limited shelf life. So if we can't get into the festival route, this is a very good way to do it and still get local buzz in the Bay Area, because this is very much a Bay Area film, but that can then jump from Bay Area to a bigger audience, depending on just how we want to work it and just how things flow. Other than that, that is our plan.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hill. I would like to move on to how we use the internet to its fullest extent. I developed 2 mock-ups of what a website, if we were to launch a website, what it would look like. Both of these, you have your mobile version of it as well as a desktop version of it. This poster that's also shown on this website is just a mock-up, again, just a mock-up, just to get an idea of what it could look like. This isn't what the final poster will appear as, but this is the idea. We want to have a website where the poster will be front and center, along with links to different media sites like YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, things like that, just to show, okay, we're building something here, to show people we're building something, we're building a community. The website could also include forums for fans of the film, or fans or people that are part of the Indiegogo page to want to involve themselves with the creators. They can send us messages on the forums, they can discuss the film, they can see any background material we might have. The website would also include a store front where we would sell merchandise. This can also be a way, if we were going this route, to sell DVDs of the film. Both of these websites can be really, really accessible really easily through either, again, through mobile or through a desktop. So there's no reason for someone to not visit our website. Currently, I do not have a URL because, again, this is just a mock-up. This isn't the final product, but that is something that we are looking to do to be able to easily promote our film using online avenues. And with that, I will conclude my portion of the presentation.
This has been a marketing and distribution plan of Skinwalkers. Thank you so much for listening to our presentation.